Today I'm going to show you how to use the Bernina domestic sewing machine. First, a bit of health and safety. You need to have had a studio induction prior to sewing machine induction. Remove scarves, long jewellery, tie long hair back. Do not use the machine if you notice any faults or damage, and please report to tech staff. Machines are heavy. Ask staff if you need help. Keep fingers clear distance from the foot and needle. When not in use, switch off the machine and return it to the cupboard. Leave work area tidy. Winding a bobbin. So first switch on your machine, and here, it's a dial, and the light's on, it's on. Your bobbin, pop it on here. And then you want to take your thread, come over here to this nib here, and there's an arrow on it. You want to follow the arrow round. Back over to the bobbin, over around the top, and just wind it round a couple of times. Hold on to your thread, and move your bobbin across. So once you've wound your thread onto your bobbin, move it across and then it will come off. And there's a little cutting blade in here and you can just cut it there. So in here is your bobbin case. So with your bobbin, you want the thread to be going round clockwise. You just pop it in your bobbin, and there's a little slit there. This is basically a piece of metal. It tensions your thread, so it should hold. So at the moment my needle is down, and I'm going to just pull this wheel towards me and pull my wheel up. With this at the top, you want to pop your bobbin in and you want to listen for it to click in. That's in. Now we can thread up the top. So take it out from there. So we're going to go across to here. And then we're going to come down here, around here. With this one, we're going to come this side and then go across and back down. So if I come up here and then go across, it's hooked in here. I'm going to hook it in here, and now we can thread the needle. If you've got a fluffy bit, just give it a nice clean cut, and then it should go in. So now I've got my thread at the top and I've got my bobbin thread at the bottom, and I want to bring my bobbin thread up to the top. So to do that, I'm going to hold this thread and just very gently tug it. I'm going to pull my wheel towards me, my hand wheel here. My needle's going to go down, it's going to collect my bottom thread, and I'm just going to pull it up. So here it is. So now I have my two threads at the top. I'll tuck them in there, tuck them back there. And I'm going to find my piece of fabric. Okay. So at the back here is a lever, and we need to drop the foot down here, and then we're ready to sew. But first I'm going to show you the other dials on the machine. So the tension dial, you want your two red lines to meet here. You won't need to move it very far either way, but to start with, just always start there. Always practice on a scrap of fabric before you start on your project, just to make sure everything's working right. On here, these are all the fancy stitches, but they're also the straight and zigzag, and this comes under the green line. This dial moves. If you move it across, you can go up and down, but we want it just on the bottom, on the green, and this green corresponds with this dial down here. So you want this dial to be on the green too. So this dial here is a double dial. If you watch the needle, this centre one moves the needle across, but we're just going to leave it in the middle. This outer dial is for doing a zigzag or fancy stitches, and this gives you your width of stitch. At the moment I'm going to leave it on a 0 because we just want to do a straight stitch. The next dial down is a buttonhole, sort of automatic. We don't want to use that now, that's something different. We just make sure that the marker is on the 0. And then this dial is your stitch length. So a good place to start is a 2. This dial also goes backwards. If you lift it up, your machine will go backwards, and then it will go back to the number you've chosen. And this dial at the bottom is a double dial as well. So you want the outer dial, you want it to be on the green to correspond with our straight and zigzag, not the red, just the green. And the centre dial wants to be on the zigzag and straight here, not on this cross hatch. So off we go. So the machine will just feed the fabric through. I'm just going to guide it, and then with your needle up you can change the dial here if we can want to do a zigzag. And then if we want to change directions, we lift up our foot, change direction, foot down again. So I might want to make my machine stitches closer together. So I'm going to change this dial up, and this makes them closer together, it's shorter. I'm just going to move it around. So I've done the biggest zigzag here, it's on a 5, but I can move it to a 3, and it will just do. And then if you want to go back to just doing a straight stitch, just go back to 0, and there you go. It's on a really short stitch at the moment, so I'm just going to make it a bit longer. If you're sewing a seam and coming to the end of your sewing, just go and reverse, and that would fasten off your sewing. So to stop, you need to move your needle up into the up position, moving this hand wheel here, always move that towards you, and then lift your foot up, and it should just tug out. Round here is a little cutting blade there. There we are. And that's how you use the machine.